Forum and Global Mooc and Online Education Alliance 2022 Online Education Dialogue Kickoff. Next, I would like to give the warmest welcome to the guests present today. First of all, Mr. Ilim Nazam, the Director General of Higher Education at the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia. Mr. Ojek Darojek, the Rector of Universitas Terbuka. Ms. Paulina Penny, the Chairperson of Indonesia Cyber Education Institute at Universitas Terbuka, as well as Mr. Wu Yan, the Director General of Higher Education, Ministry of Education at the People's Republic of China. Mr. Yang Bing, the Vice President and Provost at Tsinghua University and the convener of Executive Committee at the Global Mooc and Online Education Alliance. Mr. Wang Shuaiguo, the CEO of Xuetangx, as well as Mr. Noah Yarrow, he's the Senior Education Specialist at the World Bank. Mr. Wang Libing, he is the Chief of Section for Educational Innovation and Skills Development at the UNESCO Asia Pacific Region Bureau for Education. Thank you for all the guest presence, as well as all 18 partner universities representing during the meeting. Last but not least, I would also like to give special thanks to the Tsinghua University Southeast Asia Center, Online Education Center, Office of International Affairs, and the School of Continuing Education for the enormous support throughout the entire process. So, to officially kick off the ceremony, I would first like to welcome Mr. Wu Yan, the Director General of Higher Education at the Ministry of Education of People's Republic of China, for his opening remarks. Welcome.
尊敬的伊尔·尼扎姆司长、奥杰特·达罗哈特校长、诺亚·亚罗先生、宝琳娜·潘南院长、尊敬的杨斌副校长、各位来宾、女士们、先生们、朋友们，大家上午好。今天对于印尼和中国的在线教育发展而言，是一个重要的日子。应印尼国家在线教育平台印尼网络教育学院的邀请，学堂在线以及部分中国高校将捐赠一批优质的慕课资源与服务，用于印尼高校学生的在线学习。这些课程涵盖了自然科学、人文社会科学的多个学科，涉及人工智能、碳中和等多个影响人类命运的重大议题。本次合作是双方在充分了解、充分信任基础上做出的新探索、新尝试，将开启两国高等教育合作的新篇章。在这里，我代表中华人民共和国教育部高等教育司热烈祝贺印尼网络教育学院与学堂在线成功签约，也十分期盼印尼网络教育学院与学堂在线在未来能够携手共进，开展更加全面深入、卓有成效的合作。当今世界新轮科技革命和产业变革带动了互联网、大数据、人工智能等数字技术快速发展，引发了知识的爆炸式更新，人才需求结构的深刻变化，以及教育技术与形态的革命性创新。在此背景下，融合互联网加、智能加技术的慕课应运而生，并成为推动高等教育变革的重要引擎。我们高度重视慕课建设与发展。中国慕课建设自2013年启动以来，采取了高校主体、政府支持、社会参与的方式，发动最好的大学、最好的教师 建设了最好的优质课程。经过9年的努力，中国高等教育构建起了类型多样、门类齐全的高等教育慕课体系，形成了一套包括理念、技术、标准、方法、评价等在内的改革方案，建立了慕课发展的中国范式。截止目前，中国主要慕课平台和技术平台有37家，上线慕课数量超过4.75万门，注册用户达3.64亿人。新冠肺炎疫情期间，中国高校利用慕课等在线教学形式，开展了一场史无前例的大规模的在线教学实践，并掀起了一场改变了教师教、改变了学生学、改变了学校管、改变了教育形态的学习革命。我们积极支持国际交流与合作。中国教育部本着守望相助、同舟共济的精神，支持学堂在线建设了英文版国际课程平台，上线了覆盖医学与疫情防控、自然科学、工程与技术等8个领域的数百门优质的英文课程。平台已入选联合国教科文组织远程教学解决方案，面向全球大学生和社会学习者提供服务。2020年，在教育部的支持下，由清华大学发起成立了世界慕课与在线教育联盟，联合14个国家、20个大学及机构，携手面对智能互联网时代给全球教育带来的挑战与机遇。可以说，新冠肺炎疫情愈发让我们认识到，开放与合作在应对人类共同面临的公共危机时显现出来的巨大力量和价值。我们大力提倡教育数字化变革。今年，中国教育部将正式启动教育数字化战略行动，加速改变学习方式，提高教育效率，优化教育治理。我们认为，高等教育数字化是实现从学习革命、质量革命到高质量发展的突破性的切口和创新性的路径。以学堂在线、爱课程为代表的国际平台，也将建设更优质的课程资源，推出更智慧的教学工具，提供更便捷的课程服务。今年12月，我们还将隆重召开2022世界慕课与在线教育大会，发布世界高等教育数字化未来发展报告，探索数字化时代教育教学合作的新形态与新范式。在线课程既是学习资源，也是情感纽带。面向未来，我们对中国和印尼双方的合作前景充满了期待，希望双方以本次签约为起点，加强沟通，深化合作，在互利互惠原则的基础上，共同探索在线教育合作机制，共享更多优质资源，惠及两国高校的学习者。刚刚在北京闭幕的第24届冬奥会的主题口号是 Together for a shared future， 一起向未来，让中国和印尼高等教育携手共进，一起向未来。祝各位工作愉快，身体健康，谢谢。
Thank you, Mr. Wu Yan, for his opening remarks, particularly in setting the expectation for the cooperation between China and Indonesia, unleashing the potential of digitization of higher education, and more importantly, continuing the spirit of the Winter Olympics together for a shared future. Thank you. Next, I would like to welcome the Senior Education Specialist at the World Bank, Mr. Noah Yarrow, for his opening remark. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Enoch. Nice to see you again. Good morning to all. Selamat pagi semua. Ni hao. Zhao shang hao. I'm very pleased to be here and honored to participate in this forum. It gives me great pleasure to share with you that this forum was funded in part by the China World Bank Group Facility, which is a trust fund administered by the World Bank on behalf of the government of China. To connect to Director Wu Yan's remarks, this is indeed a part of partnership and shared trust. So thank you very much for that. We at the World Bank are honored to be able to participate in this exchange of experience and knowledge between China and Indonesia. We have worked with a number of countries around the world to improve equity, access, and quality of tertiary education services. Micro-credentialing and certificates are an important part of this work for both public and private sector institutions. And this was something I saw myself in a trip to China in 2019. We believe that it is essential that more students, especially those from low-income families and rural backgrounds, be given the opportunity to learn essential skills for the fourth industrial revolution. This includes improving access for women in STEM, increasing lifelong learning.
Noah, I think you are muted. Sorry.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Sure. Yes.
Have I been muted the whole time?
No.
No.
Okay.
Just the past 10 seconds.
Very well. I very much appreciate the remarks made by Director Wu Yan, who highlighted the learning opportunities of this agreement. I am personally very interested to learn some of the cutting edge and creative approaches being taken by our colleagues from Tsinghua University, Nankai University, and to learn from the perspective of their Indonesian counterparts at Universitas Terbuka and Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, as well as my colleagues from the ADB and UNESCO. I want to thank you all very much for having me, and I hope that this is the last time somebody is unintentionally muted during the conference. Thank you very much. 谢谢.
Thank you so much to Mr. Yarrow for your remark, and we hope to, of course, live up to the promise to continuing increasing equity, access, and quality to more partners, institutions between the two countries and beyond as well. Thank you again for your opening remarks. Next, it is my pleasure to welcome the Vice President and Provost at Tsinghua University and the convener of Executive Committee at the Global Mooc and Online Education Alliance, Mr. Yang Bing.
Thank you, Ina. Professor Ellya, Professor Gerald Jade, Mr. Noy Yarrow, Chairperson Paulina Panen, Mr. Wu Yan, distinguished guests and friends, good morning. It is a great pleasure to give opening remarks at the Indonesia Cyber Education Institute and Xuetang X Massive Open Online Education Cooperation Agreement signing ceremony on behalf of Tsinghua University. First of all, please allow me to congratulate the two parties on their upcoming cooperation. I would also like to express my utmost respect to the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology of Indonesia and the Ministry of Education of the People's Republic of China for their support of this cooperation, and to sincerely thank all colleagues from both countries for their tireless efforts. It is a great honor for Tsinghua University and Global Mooc and Online Education Alliance to facilitate and participate in this cooperation. Tsinghua University has been vigorously promoting online education, the development and application of MOOCs, as well as education equity and quality. Tsinghua University has already launched more than 380 Moocs, ranking #1 among universities in the world, attracting more than 30 million learners from all over the world. All endeavors have promoted the sharing of quality educational resources and laid a solid foundation for teachers to use Mooc resources to reconstruct classroom teaching, carry out hybrid teaching, and explore and improve the quality of education. Since the outbreak of COVID-19, Tsinghua University has successfully carried out all-round real-time online interactive teaching, motivated by the belief that educating people is an unwavering responsibility of our teaching institution. As a pandemic prevention and control measures have become a regular practice, Tsinghua has actively promoted the in-depth integration of information technology and education, successfully implemented online and offline all-round hybrid education, and continued to enrich the practice of integration. We have also seized opportunities of the internet era and continued exploring the integration of online and offline, cross-border, cross-disciplinary integration, and academia-industry integration. Tsinghua has also made innovations in education, reformed teaching models, updated educational concepts, and developed itself as a more open, more integrated, and more resilient university. What's more, Tsinghua University attached great importance to the R&D and application of digital teaching technology for the innovation of teaching models through technological innovation to serve teachers and learners. In 2013, Tsinghua University initiated the establishment of Xuetang X, which has now become the second largest Mooc platform in the world and one of the first international platforms for online teaching in China, providing quality learning resources for global learners and strong support for the digital transformation of education at universities. And today, we are also delighted to see that Xuetang X has joined hands with 18 Chinese universities. In the future, there may be more universities to participate and cooperate with the Indonesia Cyber Education Institute to explore international cooperation in online education, thanks to our endeavors over the past decade. Xuetang X also focuses on the innovation of teaching technology to help thousands of teachers improve classroom teaching. In 2016, it launched the smart teaching tool, Rin Classroom, 语课堂, which enhances teacher-student interaction and obtains big data on teaching and learning behaviors with information technology. The performance of each student is analyzed through artificial intelligence and big data algorithm to improve teaching evaluation and promote the transition from experience-driven teaching to digital-driven teaching. In 2020, Rin Classroom won the Times Higher Education Asia 2020 Technological Innovation of the Year award. At the moment, teachers from 177 countries and regions are teaching with this tool, Rin Classroom. We look forward to seeing that cooperation between the Indonesia Cyber Education Institute and Xuetang X in the continuous innovation of digital teaching technology in the future. We have always adhered to open cooperation and are committed to working with global partners to jointly promote the reform and innovation of higher education around the world. COVID-19 is a once-in-a-century pandemic that affects the future and destiny of mankind. It has raised our awareness of the necessity, importance, and urgency of strengthening solidarity and cooperation to face problems and challenges to mankind. Tsinghua University actively uses online education to promote international cooperation and initiated the Global Mooc and Online Education Alliance at the end of 2020. The alliance is co-founded by 17 universities and 3 online education institutions from 14 countries on 6 continents. Together, the alliance is addressing the challenges and opportunities brought by the era of intelligence and internet to global education amid COVID-19 pandemic, serving as platform for friendly exchanges on education and culture between Chinese and overseas platforms. The alliance focuses on collaborative teaching, capacity building, knowledge sharing, and public advocacy. We believe that only through communication can we enhance global understanding and pave the way for deeper cooperation. Only by learning from each other can we learn from others' strengths, give full play to our respective advantages, and explore a new model for higher education that is up to date and full of vitality. Only with practice can we work together to cope with the severe challenges brought by COVID-19 to higher education. We are delighted to see that Xuetang X, a leading member of the World Mooc and Online Education Alliance, and the Indonesia Cyber Education Institute have become new partners and also created a new paradigm for cooperation. We hope that both parties and the universities of the 2 countries can take this as an opportunity to further our cooperation, enhance communication and mutual learning, and set an example for regional and global cooperation on higher education. In closing, I hope that Indonesia Cyber Education Institute, Xuetang X, and the universities can join hands for a shared future together with the application of online education. I wish you good health and every success. Thank you.
Thank you for a wonderful remark, Mr. Yang Bin, and many congratulations to Tsinhua's achievement and leadership in Mooc and online education. I too believe Tsinhua's mission to strive and create a more open, integrative, and resilient university will also benefit the cooperation in attention as well. Thank you so much. Next, I would like to welcome Mr. Ojek Darojek. He is a rector of Universitas Terbuka. Welcome.
Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning, everyone. Ni hao and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Professor Insinyur Nijam, MSc, DIC, PhD, Ibu Asian Engineering, the Director General of Higher Education, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, the Republic of Indonesia. Dr. Wu Yan, the Director of the Ministry of Education's Higher Education Department, China. Professor Yan Bin, Vice President and Provost, Tsinghua University, Convener of Executive Committee, Global Moocs and Online Education Alliance. Dr. Wang Xinjie, President of Xuetang X, and Mr. Noh Yaro, the Senior Education Specialist from the World Bank, and rectors and representative of ICE Institute Consortium. I can see here from Undip, UNS, UPH, UNJ, and other universities. And Professor Panelis, the director of EISD Institute, and all the participants. As the chairman of the EISD Institute Consortium, I am very grateful to the Ministry of Education's Higher Education Department China for allowing the cooperations between EISD Institute and Sutong-X. This endeavor has been made possible thanks to the World Bank through China and the World Education Reform Trust Fund support, Mr. Noah Yarrow and Ibu Ratna Kusuma. For the initial stage, EISD Institute will obtain about 60 high-quality courses, licensed courses from Sutong-X, and in the future, EISD Institute's high-quality courses would also be offered on the Sutong-X platform. Ladies and gentlemen, this semester, February until June 2022, in EISD Institute platform, we have 23 well-known universities in Indonesia as our course providers. The courses offered are about 286 courses from the EISD Institute Consortium and 1,573 IDX courses, including those from Tsinghua University. Whereas the number of participants is about 7,178 students from 96 universities in Indonesia. In the meantime, EISD Institute has created a game developer Microcredential program involving lecturers from 10 consortium partner universities and mentors from lecturers and professionals from the Indonesian Gaming Associations. There are 672 students joining the program. In the future, it is expected that the collaborations between EISD Institute and Sutong-X and Tsinghua University will grow stronger and touch other areas such as collaborative research and innovations, collaborative online courses development and delivery, and other meaningful activities. Thank you very much, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for your opening remarks. And this will mark the end of the 4 wonderful opening remarks we have from the Ministry of Education, the World Bank, Tsinghua University, and Universitas Terbuka. Now we'll be moving to the introduction of platforms and cooperation. To kick us off, I would like to welcome the chairperson of Indonesia Cyber Education Institute at Universitas Terbuka, Ms. Paulina Penny. Welcome.
Thank you, Enno. Very good morning to all of you, and ni hao, and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Indonesia Cyber Education Institute, which compared to Sutong-X, perhaps it's a baby. So we are taking a baby step now. It's only 1 year old, not even 1 year old. We started in July 2021, so now it's our 2nd semester. I believe my colleagues here has a video to introduce you to EISD Institute, please.
Kemajuan ilmu pengetahuan serta pandemi merubah kebiasaan kita dalam menggunakan teknologi dan internet.
No, it's not on the screen.
Indonesia Cyber Education Institute yang Direktorat Jenderal Pendidikan Tinggi pada tanggal 28 Juli tahun 2021. EISD Institute merupakan loka pasar digital untuk mata kuliah daring berkualitas di Indonesia, yang tujuan utamanya adalah memfasilitasi berkualitas sekaligus kualitas layanan pembelajaran daring.
Please bear with us with some technical difficulties.
Konsorsium mata kuliah daring yang disediakan oleh EISD
We can
memperluas
hear
the video, the audio.
Yes. Kapan saja dan di mana saja dengan beasiswa Merdeka Belajar untuk semua dari Menteri Pendidikan, Kebudayaan, Riset, dan Teknologi. Semua mahasiswa dari berbagai perguruan tinggi bisa memilih mata kuliah dari perguruan tinggi ternama di Indonesia juga luar negeri melalui isd.ac. SKS dan sertifikatnya bisa diakui oleh kampus asal. Sampai saat ini, ISE.ac ada ratusan mata kuliah daring dan perguruan tinggi papan atas di Indonesia dan ribuan lainnya dari EDX yang berasal dari perguruan tinggi terkemuka internasional. Dengan mengadopsi teknologi blockchain, EISD Institute menghubungkan semua penempuhan mata kuliah dan menghubungkannya dengan job market, sehingga menjadi satu loka pasar pendidikan daring yang terintegrasi. EISD Institute akan selalu berusaha mendorong perubahan dalam peningkatan dan pemerataan kualitas pendidikan Indonesia guna mendukung program Merdeka Belajar untuk
Okay, thank you very much for the video. I believe I will give also some information about EISD Institute. So, ladies and gentlemen, please bear with me.
Yeah.
Is it already there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, welcome to Indonesia Cyber Education Institute. It was soft launching in 2019, but we are in operation starting July 2021 when Professor Nizam, our DG, officiated us. We carry the tagline Merdeka Belajar untuk Semua, which means freedom learning for all. Indonesia Cyber Education Institute is a marketplace of online courses, just like Shutang X. It's a gallery of online courses being offered in Indonesia, but in order for a course to be in the gallery, you have to go through all the e-learning registry, the curation, the verification, and also the improvement. So we have our own standard based on the EDX and some other international standard to build the online courses and then to upload it in the gallery later on. Hopefully, based on the high quality assurance systems that we have, all the courses will be transferable for credit earnings and transfer scheme under the higher education ecosystem in Indonesia. And it also can be stuck up, can be combined several certificates for accomplishment, so it can be used as microcredential. So each course will have its own certificate, but you can stock up into a microcredential program. We believe that as such, we are offering flexible learning for everybody in Indonesia, especially in higher education community, from Aceh, from the west side of Indonesia up to the eastern part of Indonesia to Jayapura. And we are also expecting that the competency gained through all the courses offered in EISD Institute will be linked to the job market. We are preparing the system using the blockchain so that it can be there, it can be registered, it can be tracked by the job market. So that's about the institute and the value proposition that we are proposing, because this is a collaboration among several parties in Indonesia and beyond. We will provide affordable quality online courses to our Indonesian students and also public. And also we would like to provide quality Indonesian as well as English online courses collection, because we have to go through the curations, verification, and registration based on the national and international standard. As such, we are offering open access, whether you are as a provider, whether you are as users, and also some of our colleagues in universities become our partners and also driving us as a policymakers. Overall, we are providing with all our users flexible learning. Ladies and gentlemen, the first time we started, we have about 14 partners of higher education institutions, plus other companies and also embassies partners. And now we are adding more than 13 partners, including Swetang, Tsinghua University, and also the World Bank. Thank you for being our partner. We have now 1,420 courses from EDX and 286 courses from the EISD Institute consortiums. And hopefully we will have additional 60 courses from Swetang X. And then our first program is, we call Freedom Learning, Freedom Campus, is a policy from the government to allow students to take 20 credits from other study programs in one university or 40 credits from other universities, including foreign universities. So EISD Institute is doing the second one, that is allowing students to choose 40 credits from any universities available in Indonesia as well as abroad. So we are going into the program called Independent Study and also Virtual Students Exchange and later on Microcredentials with our capacity of course collections. And this is the second program of EISD Institute, Microcredentials on Game Developer. We have 10 universities collaborating to develop the game developer. And right now we have 5 streams of 27 courses. The game developer micro-credential program is 20 credit hours load, 6 weeks with 6 weeks capstone project. Right now we have 672 students and we are expecting for the next semester about 2,000 students coming in. So the 2 programs is like this. The first is the MBKM or Freedom Learning, Freedom Campus. The second one is Game Developer Micro-Credentials. And we have right now student body of 3,254. From last semester, we have 3,800. And the enrollment in consortium courses is slightly increasing to 7,310. And then enrollment in EDX is 1,572. And we have also game developer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just a testimony from the students, how they enjoy the courses in our platform in EISD Institute, and they really appreciate the experience that they have, the opportunity that they have, even if it is only one course coming from Harvard University, from Universitas Indonesia, for example, they really appreciate that they can enjoy, they can join those courses. And finally, they graduate, and these 2 certificates indicates they have graduated from Tsinghua University courses last time. It's Big Data and Intellectual Property Law and Practice. The funny thing is that that course is actually in Chinese. And what our students do is every time they have the course, the session, they will put the translation in Google Translate. So they go into the courses one by one, session by session, via translated materials, and they graduated. And that is really our, what you call, it's amazing to see our students that they want to study and they no constraint at all right now. And in addition to offering courses, we are also involved in collaborative research and also cyber education forum. I think Libing Wang has been involved so many times with our cyber education forum. And these are our topics for 2021 last year, which are going to be continued this second year. And also these are new topics for this year. And we have already got 2 cyber education forum this year, January, and this one is the February one. And hopefully later on, we can also engage with Tsinghua universities and some other universities in China to do research, collaborative research in online education, and also do the cyber education forum together. The other thing that we do in EISD Institute is from time to time, we do market research, seeking information about the top industry in Indonesia and the top job titles and the top skills by demand. And based on this research, we expect that our universities will go into providing courses which answers to the skills demand in the market, so that the students will be prepared later on if they go into the market, into the job market. We also help the students profiling, identifying gap of skills owned by each student to the skills demanded by the job market, and then later on provide a kind of advice which courses you can take so that you are ready for the job market. That is another coverage of EISD Institute. So that's about it. And we are looking forward to a very strong collaboration between Indonesia and China, especially EISD Institute with Xutang-X and also Universitas Terbuka with Tsinghua University. Thank you very much. Xinjie.
Comprehensive introduction of the EISD Institute. I particularly like 2 of the points which was mentioned. One is making a difference through cooperation, and also as well as a very touching story illustrating that online learning can break through language barriers as well. And hopefully with this cooperation, we can accelerate that process and allow more people to enjoy the benefit of online learning. This may be a baby step for our cooperation, but hopefully years, when we look back, it will be a giant leap for Mooc and online education development. Thank you again for the wonderful introduction. Next, I would like to welcome the Chief Executive Officer, the CEO of Xutang-X, Mr. Wang Shuaiguo, for his introduction of the platform. Welcome.
Thanks, Arnold. Director General Ellya Nizam, Professor Ojat Darajat, Mr. Noah Yarrow, Chairman Paulina Pennan, Director Wu Yan, President Yang Bin, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Hello, Apakaba. Good morning. I'm Wang Shuaiguo, CEO of Xutang-X. I was delighted that Indonesia Cyber Education Institute and Xutang-X have officially entered into a partnership today. At the invitation of Indonesia Cyber Education Institute, Indonesia's national online education platform, with the assistance of the Global Mooc and Online Education Alliance, Xutang-X has joined hands with 18 Chinese universities to offer 60 top-notch Moocs taught in English or providing English subtitles to Indonesian university students as a donation, covering various disciplines, including natural sciences, humanities, and social sciences, computer, artificial intelligence, engineering, biology, medicine, and tourism. This cooperation is a milestone in Indonesia and China's cooperation in and sharing the quality higher educational resources. I believe that in the future, XH and Indonesia will jointly build and share more resources of high qualities and carry out more and deeper cooperation in education. I would also like to thank the 18 university in China for offering courses. Please allow me to introduce to you the endeavors of XH to advance the worldwide sharing of quality courses and advanced educational technologies. XH is the first Mooc platform in China, launched by Tsinghua University in 2013. With more than 8 years of development, XH now has more than 87 million learners and has become the second largest Mooc platform in the world. Bringing together quality courses given by top-notch teachers all over the world, XH has offered more than 4,500 quality Moocs from Tsinghua University, Peking University, Cornell University, University of Toronto, St. Petersburg State University, and other renowned universities in the world. XH has spared no efforts to explore novel and innovative forms of Mooc development with quality courses, resources, and top-notch teachers. XH has launched a training camp program to create a super learning experience for learners. XH has carried out intensive cooperation with Chinese universities and companies and launched projects certificated by universities and enterprises. We have also been seeking the mutual international recognitions of credits and have launched a certification program in cooperating with Cornell University and the Open University of the UK. For years, XH has committed to establishing a two-way channel for introduction and output of courses at home and abroad, as well as the global sharing of quality resources. In 2020, Tsinghua University and 19 university institutions on diverse continents jointly launched the Global Mooc and Online Education Alliance for further cooperation. XH is very proud to be a founding member and strived to help universities at home and abroad to carry out curriculum, teaching cooperation, and teaching exchanges. Since 2016, XH has been responsible for the development and operation of the online education platform of the UNESCO International Center for Engineering Education, serving global engineering education based on quality online education resources and delivering quality content to developing countries. On April 8, 2020, amid the COVID-19 global pandemic, the international version of XH was officially launched as the Chinese Ministry of Education's first international platform for online education at universities. XH has been selected as a UNESCO distance learning solution and providing services for university students and social learners all around the world. XH joined hands with university at home and abroad to build a global service network on the basis of the international version, providing learning resources, quality teaching and learning services for university students and learners from all over the world for free, and contribute efforts to the fight against COVID among higher education institutions around the world. XH not only focuses on quality content development, but also commits itself to the development of educational technologies based on artificial intelligence and big data, with the aims of promoting Chinese universities' digital transformation of education and improving their quality of education. Moocs, hybrid teaching development along with Moocs, and educational technologies with enhanced interaction are all digital transformations that universities must go through, including the digitalization of teaching content, the digitalization of teaching process, and the digitalization of teaching management. These are or far-reaching influences of technological development on higher education, catalyzed by the pandemic. Ring Classroom is a smart teaching tool jointly developed by Tsinghua University and XueTangX, combining PowerPoint and WeChat together, both commonly used by teachers and students. It is easy to use and does not change the teaching habits of teachers. It has already covering 6,400 million teachers and students and become the most active smart teaching tool in China. Ring Classroom enables whole process teaching behavior collection based on the big data of teaching on Ring Classroom. Universities can realize smart teaching management. With Ring Classroom, Tsinghua University took the lead in digital transformation of university governance. In 2020, Ring Classroom won the Times Higher Education Asia 2020 Technology Innovation of the Year for Tsinghua University. During the COVID-19 outbreak in 2020, Ring Classroom enabled 1 million teachers from more than 800 Chinese universities to teach online, providing online classes for more than 21 million students. XueTangX uses its original technology to create a novel, innovative form of technology sharing, Ring Classroom Clone Class, using the concept of digital twin to achieve the replication of and mapping of original classrooms in the digital virtual space, so as to realize the opening and sharing of the classroom. In the spring semester of 2020, through real-time clone classes, Tsinghua University shared 22 courses with 6 sister universities, including Wuhan University, Huazhong University of Science Technology, Huazhong Agriculture Universities, Xinjiang University, Taiyuan University of Technology, and Qinghai University, covering nearly 6,000 teachers and students. In the fall semester of 2021, 14 universities in Beijing, Shanghai, Zhejiang, Fujian province of China share real-time classrooms with 9 universities in Xinjiang in Western China, enhancing in-depth education equity. In the future, XueTangX will continue to work with more overseas universities and institutions with openness and facilitations, jointly develop and share advanced teaching technologies and quality education resources, and advance the development of higher education in the world and Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wang Shuaiguo, for a wonderful presentation of XueTangX platform. XueTangX has been a true pioneer and innovator of Mooc and online education, bringing learning resources to over 87 million learners worldwide. And once again, with cooperation with EISD Institute, hopefully we can continue our commitment to increase equity, quality, and access of online learning resources. This is an introduction of both platform as well as the cooperation. So now I would like to welcome the Director General of Higher Education at the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia for a closing remark. Welcome, Mr. Inin Nasang.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sehat, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Also good morning. Excellency, Mr. Wu Yan, Director of the Ministry of Education's Higher Education Department, PRC China. Mr. Yang Bin, Vice President and Provost of Tsinghua University, Convener of Executive Committee, Global Mooc and Online Education Alliance, Mr. Wang Shuaiguo, President of XueTangX, Mr. Noah Yaro, Senior Education Specialist of the World Bank, Prof. Ujat Tarujat, Rectors of Universitas Terbuka, Rector of ICE Institute Consortium, and Mrs. Prof. Paulana Panen, Director of ICE Institute, and all attendants of this morning event. First of all, I would like to appreciate and congratulate these collaborations between Tsinghua University and especially the Swetang X with Open University Indonesia, and especially the ICE Institute. These 2 years of pandemics bring us to transform rapidly into the use of technology. Moocs that has been there for decades now become unnecessary, become a means of delivering educations and getting educations for every students. Therefore, I highly appreciate these collaborations between ICE Institute Indonesia and Swetang X China. Now Moocs become global and become the link of partnerships between universities, not only in country, but across the country. ICE Institute was established last year, although it has been a very long time for the preparations, but it takes the momentum during this pandemic to bring ICE Institute into life. Currently it is a collaboration of 15 top universities in Indonesia to share courses, not only in asynchronous mode, but also in synchronous mode. I would like to thank and highly appreciate for the Ministry of Education, Higher Education Department, PRC China, that has allowed these collaborations to happen between the ICE Institute and Swetang X. I do hope that these collaborations will extend further and stronger in the future. I also would like to thank and appreciate to the World Bank that has supported for supporting the 60 subjects from Swetang X to be offered in the ICE Institute marketplace. My appreciation also goes to Mr. Libing Wang from UNESCO Bangkok that has facilitated these collaborations, and today will be the keynote speaker of this webinar about micro-credentials in the online learning. In the past 2 years, the Ministry of Education and Culture, especially in higher educations, we accelerate the micro-credentials through Campus Merdeka program, in which students can take up to 60 credits out of their study program, including up to 40 credits out of the campus. This enables the development of competencies that is not available in their study program, not available in their university, but very important for the future. So the micro-credentials last year has been attended by tens of thousands of students in many fields of subject, and that's highly needed in the future, like machine learning, Internet of Things, and other current competencies that is not yet available in their universities. Through micro-credentials in collaborations with technology players, global technology players, and also with top global universities. In the future, the offering of subject will be available in a blended mode. And the collaborations between the Swetang X China and ICE Institute Indonesia will enrich the Moocs that is available in ICE Institute. once again, I thank you all partners that has made this collaborations possible. And I do hope that these collaborations will extend further for the benefit of both institutions. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Santi, 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 Om.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your closing remarks and also extending the wishes that this cooperation would go further and stronger. Thank you once again for your words, and I would also send my best wishes to the cooperation. The next part would take this signing ceremony to new heights, where we would like to welcome both institutions to now a representative to turn on the camera, Ms. Paulina Penny and Mr. Wang Shuaiguo, to proceed to the signing ceremony portion of today's event. While the technician will be now sorting out the virtual background, let me take the opportunity to also read out the names of the 18 universities which together are providing 60 courses. They are Tsinghua University, Nankai University, Shandong University, Dalian Maritime University, South China University of Technology, Northeastern University, Dongbei University of Finance and Economics, China Medical University, South Central University for Nationalities, Yunnan University, Zhejiang Sci-Tech University, Shanxi University of Science and Technology, Hunan Normal University, Shanxi University of Chinese Medicine, Jiangxi University of Finance and Economics, Shantou University, Chang'an University, Shenzhen Polytechnic. Thank you for all these 18 partner universities to make this cooperation happen. So now the signing ceremony portion of the event.
No, sorry. The one who is signing from Indonesia will be Prof. Ojat Darojat.
Excellent.
Can you zoom in him?
Of course. We'll be locating him at this moment.
Okay, thank you.
钟声能找到对吗？好了。
哎，你是有个全景吗？是哪个镜头？不是，是怎么是虚拟的？不是就是这样。你让你先对到我，我的是只能给一个人。没事，没事，没事，对。你解释一下。
这个，对，差不多。
把那个人插上。确定吗？那帅我不是19。我他就是能聚焦一下，能推一下吗？
So now they have to be signing the paper, please.
Yes.
Okay.
So now this is a signing part of the ceremony. And I would like to welcome, to put it in front of your body so the camera will be able to catch this for a wonderful picture as well. Please bear with us. We do want to take a great photo for this occasion. 对，节目，然后换一下他的镜头，然后截个图就行了。不用，换到他的镜头，然后换到他的镜头截个图，然后我们再评。Let's do it for one last time. Excellent. Excellent. Great. Congratulations to both EISD Institute and Xinjie, and let this be a wonderful beginning of the cooperation. And this deserves a huge round of applause. Thank you. Thank you so much. And also to mark this great occasion, I would like to welcome representative from the 18 universities that I read out to now turn on the camera for a big group photo to mark this occasion. I would like to especially welcome the Vice President of Thailand Maritime University, Zhao Youtao, the Vice President of Dongbei University of Finance and Economics, Wang Weiguo, the Vice President of China Medical University, Xu Bo, the Vice President and member of the Standing Committee of Party Committee at the South China University for Nationalities, Du Dongyun, Vice President of Shanxi University of Chinese Medicine, Yang Jingfeng, Vice President of Jiangxi University of Finance and Economics, Li Chungen, Vice President of Chang'an University, Fan Wen, Vice Chairman of the Board and President of Shenzhen Polytechnic, Xu Jianling, to turn on your camera and to mark this wonderful occasion. This might take some time because we have quite a few guests with us. So do give us the biggest smile you can for this occasion. And our staff is now doing screenshot of our happy faces to commemorate this great occasion. Just give us a few more seconds. Okay, thank you so much for keeping the smile, and hopefully this smile would continue beyond and throughout this entire wonderful cooperation. This marks the end of the signing ceremony portion of this. I would like to once again extend our greatest appreciation for all the guest speakers at the opening remarks and closing remark, including from the Ministry of Education at the People's Republic of China, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia, the World Bank, Tsinghua University, Universitas Terbuka, as well as EISD Institute and Xinjie. Thank you so much for attending the signing ceremony, and let this be a wonderful beginning for the cooperation. We will now move on to the second part of today's event, the 10th Cyber Education Forum and the Global Mooc and Online Education Alliance 2022 Online Education Dialogue Kickoff. I would like to welcome Mr. Vosi Raman Koshashi to moderate the next part of this. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Anna Wang. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Ni hao. After witnessing a successful signing ceremony between Xinjie and the EISD Institute, in a minute, we will have the 10th Cyber Education Forum with Dr. Libing Wang as the keynote speaker and me, Vosi Raman Koshashi, as the moderator. The theme of today's webinar is Certificate and Microcredential Program of Online Courses, Challenges and Opportunities for Indonesia. Back to the keynote speaker, Dr. Libing Wang is currently the Chief Section for Educational Innovation and Skills Development of UNESCO Asia Pacific Regional Bureau for Education in Bangkok, Thailand. Dr. Libing Wang, 15 minutes for the presentation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Greetings from UNESCO Bangkok. Thank you for the opportunity to join you on this very special occasion. I would really like to thank both the Director General of Education from Indonesia and China for facilitating this very important cooperation. This is really a milestone, and the signature of the cooperation agreement between this IC Institute based in University Terbuka, and also Shetang X based on Tsinghua University is really a milestone. It's very significant. It's between the two major national Mooc platforms in two gigantic systems of the E9 countries for UNESCO. It's really very important. As a result of this agreement, Shetang X will donate 60 Moocs developed by 19 Chinese higher education institutions to be accessible by Indonesian learners via the IC Institute platform. This is really very significant achievement in the promotion of international flow of quality content and the pedagogy, which can contribute to the access, quality, equity of higher education in the Asia and the Pacific region.
我居然没存，王你的，等一下我看一下。
Can you hear me now?
Yes, very clear.
Yes, why we are excited about the potential of ICT in the delivery of higher education programs. Too often, we tend to ignore the equal importance and the availability of quality content and the supporting pedagogy to deliver them. While digital divides still exist among countries with the ICT haves and have-nots, content gap also widen learning inequalities. It is time for us to pay equal attention to content development and improving pedagogy and andragogy, along with the capacity building in the ICT infrastructure at the system and institutional level. This is really to ensure that all our new efforts can enhance ICT content and pedagogy integration. Let me go through the keywords of this speech one by one to explore their relationship to each other and how each contributes to our overarching objectives enshrined in Sustainable Development Goals number 4, target number 4.3, which says by 2030 to ensure equal access for all women and men to affordable and quality technical, vocational, and tertiary education, including universities. As well as target 4.B, which calls for more scholarships to be provided to students from developing countries to promote mobility. First, let's talk about massive open online courses. This, of course, is not a new concept, as the rector rightly mentioned. The name of Moocs means that with the support of technology, online courses can reach out to more learners than traditional campus or classroom-based courses. Open means they are easily accessible, free of charge, or with affordable costs to the learners. We are so happy to see that in the past years, several well-established and well-functioning Mooc portals have been in operation in countries in this region, such as K-Moocs, J-Moocs, Thai Moocs, Malaysian Moocs, X, of course, and IC Institute, which also is still in the baby stage, but it's really, you have a great vision. Some were initiated and financed by the government. Some were created by a consortium of universities like X, and some were developed by the private sector, as you can see from the case of Japan Moocs. They are providing platforms for quality content and pedagogy to be jointly developed, quality assured, and shared not only domestically, but also internationally to fill in the quality gap in content and pedagogy among different higher education providers within and beyond national jurisdictions. UNESCO Bangkok has been following the regional progress since 2015 with a series of regional meetings on Moocs that we organized and joined in Chengdu, China, Tokyo, Japan, Seoul, Republic of Korea, and Bangkok, Thailand, which culminated in UNESCO's Asia Pacific Regional Seminar on Moocs for Higher Education, seizing digital opportunities to achieve SDGs back in June 2018 in Shenzhen, China. Considering the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the need to promote the flexibility, relevance, and diversity of higher education provision, Moocs will continue to be an important source for course-level learning that can lead to credits, micro-credentials, and even full qualifications if they are quality assured in line with the qualification framework. National qualification frameworks and the system and the institutional level learning management systems like credit banks are the basic academic infrastructure to ensure that all Moocs are aligned with the established national quality standards, and the learning credits earned can be recognized and accumulated in the credit banks. The second key word of the speech is open educational resources. The term has been well defined by UNESCO in the 2012 Paris OER Declaration as teaching, learning, and research materials in any medium, digital or otherwise, that reside in the public domain or have been released under an open license that permits no cost access, use, adaptation, and redistribution by others with no or limited restrictions. OERs are about content and are closely related to the types of regular used licenses under the Creative Commons. UNESCO has an open access policy for all its publications, as you all know. UNESCO's resources are open educational resources under CC-BY SA license, which allows users to download, copy, distribute, translate, reuse, adapt, and build on them free of charge. In 2017, in collaboration with the government of Slovenia, UNESCO organized the second World OER Congress to reflect the pivotal role OER can play towards achieving the SDGs, including SDG 4 on quality education. 5 concrete action areas were identified in the outcome document of this meeting to mainstream OER to achieve SDG 4 on quality education, which include building the capacity of users to find, reuse, create, and share OER. Second, the issue of language and cultural diversity. Third, ensuring inclusive and equitable access to quality OERs. And the fourth is developing sustainability model through public-private partnership. And the last is the developing supportive policy environment. In view of this updated framework, content development, preferably in the form of OER, should be regarded as policy enablers for great access, improved quality and equity in higher education. There should be concentrated and continuous government investment in content upgrading in all disciplines and the fields of studies with national initiatives to engage top universities. Key Mooc platforms like XueTangX and IC Institute can serve as national knowledge and expertise repositories to disseminate and share existing quality teaching and learning materials. It is also important to engage the private sector for cost sharing of OER development activities. At institutional level, an OER strategy based on the strengths and weaknesses of the institutions should be developed with adequate budgets and incentive measures in place to encourage the teaching staff to publish editable, accessible OER, digital files in public repositories. OER provision is also an important part of the institutional outreach and the social commitment activities of the higher education institutions. Moocs are not all free. Many are fee-paying and open to those who can afford it. However, there's a great potential for Moocs to be based on OER that may lead to the award of credits, micro-credentials, and even full qualifications as mentioned. This would facilitate in-country and international flow of quality content and pedagogy to benefit more domestic and international learners. Lastly, I would like to talk about international flow of quality content and pedagogy. Moocs are not only about technology, but also about content, as well as the pedagogy to deliver the materials. Due to the online nature of Moocs, quality learning can travel without national boundaries if agreements such as today's between IC Institute and the XueTangX can be reached. So technically, Moocs can be borderless, which makes cross-border supply of higher education provision possible. However, it would be more appropriate for countries to start the international flow of content and the pedagogy at the course level, as online learning at the program level, leading to qualifications is more complicated in terms of quality assurance and the recognition. The COVID-19 pandemic has forced us to think of alternatives to cross-border student mobility, which is becoming more of virtual mobility, as you can see from many countries and many higher education institutions. Sharing Moocs among countries and institutions is another effective way to make the content move rather than the people. With the support of Moocs, virtual mobility can also be easily integrated into regular higher education programs offered by higher education institutions. There are clearly gaps in the development and the supply of quality content and pedagogy among countries in the Asia-Pacific region. Capacity building and the capacity strengthening are essential to fill in the gaps and to ensure that international flow of content and the pedagogy will not undermine the content development capacity of local and indigenous people, as well as the culture and the linguistic diversity of higher education provision. The international flow of content and pedagogy should also be supported by processes of national adaptation and localization, together with trainers training, as well as integration of localized content and pedagogy into domestic learning programs under national qualifications framework integrated into local learning ecosystem. Local relevance and ownership can be secured for sustainability. In the long run, we would like to see more joint knowledge development activities to take place in this region, where each country has something to offer, learn from each other countries and empower each other. At that time, every country can be both a sending and a receiving country in terms of international flow of content and pedagogy, which contribute toward our common goal of ensuring access to quality higher education for all. Congratulations once again to our Indonesian and Chinese colleagues on these collective achievements. UNESCO is looking forward to following your progress in the implementation of this important cooperation agreement with more tangible outcomes to benefit learners in both countries, as well as learners in the region and beyond. Thank you so much for your attention and the opportunity to join you on this very important occasion. Thanks again for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Libing Wang, for an excellent presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, the question and answer session will be after the panel discussion session. So please write down your question on the chat box. Now we'll be moving to the Global Mooc and Online Education Alliance dialogue that will be moderated by Mr. Hamiwan Fatone. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Fauzi. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before we start the panel, I would like to congratulate both Switang and EISD Institute for the wonderful partnerships. And we will have 4 distinguished speakers as our panelists. We have Prof. Xinjie from Tsinghua. Are you there?
Yes,
Prof.
Yes, I am.
And also Professor Hanqin from Nankai. Are you there also, Prof. Q? I believe I saw you this morning, but I'm not sure whether you are. Okay. And both are notable names in their fields, including in the Mooc worlds. And the other speaker are actually from the user side. So they are students from Open University of Indonesia, Miss Ellya Herlinawati, and also Muhammad Oka Ramadan, we can call it Oka, from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia is one of leading teaching university in Indonesia. Okay, without further ado, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Prof. Xinjie. He has been with the Department of Electrical Engineering at Tsinghua since 2001, upon finishing his bachelor and PhD from the same university. And he was a visiting scholar at MIT and at Waseda, and has won numerous awards. I believe I can talk a lot about him, but I will only focus on actually his achievement as a good lecturer. So he has won several awards from Beijing City, from Tsinghua, and authored 3 books, despite his professor in electrical engineering. One of his books is in pedagogy, actually, Prof. Yu. And his course on the principle of electric circuit is also the first Tsinghua course available in EDX. So he's very well known for the innovation, and I would like to close the introduction with quoting a statement from one of his students that I found on the internet, that he is a very devoted teacher, still posting videos online, although it was past midnight, to ensure that the student can draw the electric circuit diagram on the computer. So that's a nice appreciation from his student. Without further ado, Prof. Yu, the time is yours for the next 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, I believe you are still muted.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, okay. And I would like to share my screen. Please give me the right to share my screen. Yes, got it.
Yeah.
Good morning and thank you. I'm Xinjie from Tsinghua University, and today I would like to share you a relatively small talk on one very simple but very important topic, that is how do we use the Mooc resource and the Ring Classroom toolkits. So here I would like to offer 3 different ways for different targets to improve the educational quality with the help of Mooc platform, Mooc resources, and the Ring Classroom toolkits. The 3 ways are expanding curriculum. This is at the university level, the first one. The second one is to improve the students' learning quality so that we can improve the course quality. This is at the course level with the help of blended learning. And the third one is to improve the teaching quality, as just mentioned by a previous keynote speaker, the pedagogical training. So this is for the teacher level. So this is a 3-way, the outline of my speech. Let's focus on the first one, expanding curriculum. The scenario is in this way. One university, such as one in Indonesia or vice versa, one in China, needs but does not have some courses. These courses might be a series of courses, which can be called the mini degree or micro degree on a Mooc platform, or some unrelated courses just because they are important or because they can expand the knowledge scale of their students. The university needs these courses, but they cannot offer these courses by their faculty members. And then the university can adapt corresponding MOOCs for their students. Students can obtain certifications after they study, after they learn the material, pass the quiz, pass the exams, can obtain the certifications from the Mooc platform. And with these certifications, students can apply for credits of the university or even degree. That's a scenario. This type of a scenario has a very obvious advantage. In a very short words, is the university needs less cost comparing to hiring related teachers. So this is a very highly effective way to give the students more options, more knowledge. But there's one thing I need to make a notice. Even for this freely offered Mooc resources, the regulation, such as the offline exam or the tutorials from the faculty members of the universities, might be the necessary condition to ensure the learning quality of the university. Because students may have some kind of a bad behavior, such as plagiarism, such as cheating. For the pure online environment, we cannot discriminate them. So the offline activity of teaching and learning is very, very useful to tell the real learning quality. That's for the first scenario. For the second one, we can use the Mooc resource and the blended learning to improve the existing course quality. How to say that the scenario is in this way. One university already has some courses and already has some faculty members who can offer these courses. The university provides the course-related Mooc for the course teacher, not for the students. With these Mooc resources, the teachers can analyze the contents of every lecture, of every his existing lecture, and he can separate these contents into 2 parts. For those not so important contents, he or she can assign these contents for their students to learn the related Mooc videos in an online way out of class. So in the class, he or she do not need to give lectures for this type of not so important contents. So they can have more time to interact in a deeper way for the remaining important contents in the offline way in the classroom. So in the screen, I share with you the real recording of my class the day before yesterday. The students give some of the texting feedbacks while I'm asking them the questions. The students' number in my class is almost 200. With almost 200 students in one classroom, it's very hard to ask the feedback from students, but with the help of a Ring Classroom, I can get many of their feedback in time. So we call this type of teaching the blended learning. We blend the offline learning in classroom and the online learning out of class. The Ring Classroom might be a good helper to facilitate blended learning. I give the web page or the link in the screen, so you can read the README and you can download with the English version. You can use it. You can make your own blended learning at your course. The advantage of this type of using materials is that students might be more excited in class, such as videos I show on my right hand of the screen. They can feel that they are the real master of the lecture, not the teacher. They can participate in the activities very actively. But the notice is that the precondition of the very highly excited participants of our students needs the minus of the contents, which traditionally be taught in class. This type of a minus of contents needs to be designed carefully before you offer the lecture. So that's for the second part. For the third part, we can improve the teaching quality for the pedagogical training target or objective with the help of Mooc and with the Ring Classroom. So the scenario is in this way. Multiple universities have a same or similar course. So they have different teachers at different universities. They offer the same course for their different students. They can select one teacher from the leading university, maybe the tier 1 university in one region or tier 1 university in one country. He can offer what they call the clone class, which has been mentioned by Shuaiguo Wang in the previous keynote speech. He can offer the clone class of his or her true class at the same time with the help of the Ring Classroom. And other teachers can watch or even participate in the real teaching and the learning activities of the leading teacher in a real-time way. So I call this a very effective way for the pedagogical training. In the traditional way of pedagogical training, we giving lectures, how we think we need to teach, how we do in designing material. But these are all roughly speech, generally speech. The real way, the real effective way to do the pedagogical training is ask the teachers to sit in my classroom. So in this way, they do not need to sit in the classroom physically, but they can participate in every activity. So this is a very effective and efficient way to do pedagogical training, but they need a coalition, they need a group, they need an organization of teachers so they can decide which teacher to give the first clone class, which to give the second. So in this way, a group of teachers which offer the same course in different universities can improve their teaching technique very quickly. So that's 3 ways to use a Mooc resource, and the Ring Classroom I summarized and offered, share with you this morning. Thank you very much for your listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Yu. Very interesting presentation on ways to improve the Mooc. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have questions, please kindly write it in the chat box. We will conduct the question and answer after the panelist presentation. Our next speaker is Professor Hanqin from Nankai University in Tianjin. She's the Dean of College of Tourism and Service Management at Nankai. And before joining Nankai, she was the Professor of International Tourism at the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, and also the Vice President of UNESCO Hong Kong Association, and also the consultant of Education Administration to the Sun Yat-sen University, I believe in Guangzhou. Professor Q received her bachelor, master, and PhD from Nankai, from Waterloo in Canada, and Strathclyde in Glasgow, UK. And one of her notable achievements is in 2016, her team and founded the world's first MicroMaster credential in international hospitality management that is available via the EDX platform. The program received recognition from more than 40,000 online learners from over 175 countries within less than 2 years. So it's very interesting. Professor Q, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Patani, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank X for inviting Nankai to be part of this wonderful journey to work with the Indonesia educators and also in particular the EISD. It's a great honor for me here to share what we have done here at Nankai University, and in particular, so we are very grateful to have 6 courses to be selected and to work with all of you here. Thanks to X for getting us involved, and also thank you for getting my college to speak on behalf of Nankai. So can I share my PowerPoint? Yes. Okay, I'm just getting ready to put this. I was mindful that we were only given 6 minutes to share my main views in regarding the basically what we have gone through this journey in terms of quality assurance mechanism for Moocs and online courses. As many of us know that there are a lot of questions and the issues raised for educators from all different stakeholders, that there are a lot of things we need to look into on quality assurance. So my journey on the Moocs, starting probably 6-7 years ago when I was with PolyU, the first question I need to present to my board and my university senior management is how I can ensure the quality we can guarantee on the Moocs, the courses offered online and also offline. So this has been a question, raised from, at the very beginning and until today. So my team and I, studying at the PolyU when I was working with Alex for this MicroMaster up to now, coming to Nankai, we have produced a Microcredential, working with X and a few other platforms. So my journey on this quality assurance has been constantly reminded that how we can do better. So these are some of the opening remarks I'd like to share with the audience. Now in particular, so this is the Microcredential that Nankai has been launched for the past few years, starting from the one particular Mooc to a few Moocs to accumulating and stackable credentials. So this, because of the time, so I wouldn't go into this detail. I believe many of us here are all the experts to know what we mean by Microcredential. So basically it's an effective way for students to further their studies and in particular, probably even employment. So these are the main ideas which the audience are more than welcome to look at them, and I will be happy to share my PowerPoint later on. So these are the name of International Culture and Tourism Development, which involves 4 courses. And all our courses, as I illustrated here, are bilingual. So our colleagues and friends from Indonesia mentioned earlier that probably some of our students have to use the translator on the side when they are looking at the courses in Chinese or English, either way. But I think the uniqueness, the Microcredentials we created here are naturally bilingual, meaning that our courses are taught in English, but we provide transcripts and in Chinese. So basically students can have a direct comparison, which definitely will help them learn better and more effectively. So these are the 4 courses, and very grateful and very happy to know that among all these 4 courses, 3 of them were selected and to be already introduced. I was looking at the presentation and the PowerPoint and earlier by our speakers from Indonesia. Actually, our names and our pictures are already with you. So that's very interesting and very great journey to begin with. So these are the 4 courses, and we have put a great team together, led by myself as an academic in this whole process, and supported by my associate dean, in particularly looking after all the academic programs, and particularly management and assurance of quality. So she is helping me with the daily operation of the courses. So myself is leading the whole team. So each of our courses are headed by the colleagues from Nankai and also supported by the speakers in their respective fields. So it's quite international and also a comprehensive team coming from all over the world. I think that's another feature of our micro-credentials in which 3 of the courses are selected. So these are the team we put together to help us to put these 4 courses together. As you can see, they are coming from UK and from United States and from Australia and from Hong Kong and from China, Beijing University. So it's a great team that we were able to put them together to support this micro-credential journey. So we created starting from each Mooc courses, and then later on bundle them together to form micro-credentials. And then finally, I'd like to share, this is how we have ensured this quality assurance mechanism, starting from the day 1 we produce courses and eventually launch them and bundle them together as micro-credential. So I think I can classify them into 3 different stages. The first stage is at the course production. So we hired professional companies to produce all these videos for us, but the content and the knowledge points and the references and the questions and answers built into the platform are responsible by the team led by myself. And then of course, if you have opportunities to look at our course, each of our videos is about 5 to 8 minutes long, which ensure that the learners are interested enough to watch. And there are many, many more details. So forgive me that I did not get the chance to put them all in English, but they are mainly 3 parts. And then when the course actually launched and goes through all the QA mechanism, and then we come into the stage of how to manage the course. And then this management process of the courses are supported by both technical staff and also academic tutors. So then to ensure that they are smoothly learning and also interactively putting the comments and interact with the instructors and the tutors to support learning and teaching. And also we have live broadcastings built into each of the course just to ensure that the knowledge are updated by inviting the leading speakers from all over the world. So that is the second stage during the course management time process. And then finally, of course, the assessment of the course are equally important, if not more important, to ensure the quality of the course and the learning experience. So for the course assessment stage, of course, there are 2 parts. The first part was already built into the courses. For example, each course, after 5 or 10 minutes video, we would already automatically build in some Q&A questions and multiple choices, just to ensure the learners are active and are participating, and at the same time raise questions. We like to encourage this active learning habit. I think that good MOOCs can definitely achieve that. And then, of course, then part of the course assessment, just like the one I shared with you earlier, for the offline, our courses are continuous assessment, maybe probably 50 to 60%. And then the end of year exam or other assessment would be 40%. So we use the same logic to build these courses when it goes on the MOOCs. And then, so those remaining exams or assessment by projects will be probably use video and also the proctored exams, which I think are more feasible in the online learning environment. And then eventually, so each of the course learners will probably get a certificate for each course, and cumulatively, if they get 4 courses completed and met all the requirements, they could achieve a micro-credential in this particular area. I think these are the holistic process that we have gone through, starting from how we build courses to how we manage the course, and eventually how we assess our learners. I think I have wrote a few papers on this in the English tourism educational journals, and also some in the Chinese journals. So the learners and our colleagues and friends from Indonesia and from China are welcome to contact us if you're interested in our experience and interested in our courses and anything related. So I'm a big fan of online learning. I've been spending a lot of time and my effort, my enthusiasm in this area. I think it's a great journey. I certainly learned a lot. I enjoyed working with my colleagues here and also from everywhere around the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Q. Very interesting presentation. And just after Professor Yu mentioned 3 ways to improve the Mooc, we saw a real life example here whereby I believe you have a coalition of teachers in your micro-credential courses, and also how you design it carefully in order to have a very quality courses. And our next 2 speakers are from the students actually, so we will have slightly different perspective from those who are already taking courses, especially from Chinese university. Our next speaker is Miss Ellya Herlinawati. She's currently studying law at the Open University of Indonesia. A high achiever student during her high school time, she opted to join Open University under the full scholarship from BTN, state-owned bank in Indonesia, a decision that enabled her to enjoy the university level education from the comfort of her hometown in Cianjur, about 100 kilometers south of Jakarta. And last year, under the Merdeka Belajar untuk Semua scholarship, she took 2 online courses via the IDX. One is Big Data and Intellectual Property Law and Practice from the Tsinghua University, and also Contract Law from the Harvard University. And the time is yours, Ellya, and if you want to comment on both Professor Yu and Q presentation, feel free to do so.
Thank you for the floor, Mr. Fatoni. Good morning from Indonesia, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ellya Herlinawati. I am senior year law student in Open University. On my last semester, I got an opportunity to get study in Tsinghua University under Merdeka Belajar Kampus Merdeka program. Today, I will share about my experience. I'm going to explain into three main parts. For the first part is about the registration and how I can admit the program. It starts with the selection through applicants' document screening and data verification. We also receive socialization of program, including the explanation on how the program will run and how to choose classes and some more, especially for law studies, where we have intellectual property law class in 7th semester, which is equivalent with a course from Tsinghua University with the subject Big Data and Intellectual Property Law and Practice, and I took for 1 semester. Let's moving into the next part. That is second part about how the learning process. Based on my experience, the duration of the study is from the beginning of September until the end of December 2021. I took the lesson around 3 months. and the learning method is online and self-paced, where we will be given a various kind of learning videos, and also to make it easier for students, scripts for translation are also provided, as well as a video download option. So a student can save all the learning videos that have been taken, which can be reviewed after the course finishes. And for each session, which is conducted weekly, we were given a minimum and optimal time so that we have a due date for attending classes and doing assignment or homework. It really motivated me to learn the class material faster and avoid procrastinating on doing the assignment. And for each session is always accompanied by a practice test or question, and the scores will be accumulated to get a passing grade and certificate. At the end of our session, we were given a final exam, which will be the biggest contributor to the score to be able to pass the passing grade and get a certificate. And for the amount of the passing grade is between 75% to 100%. If it is less than the passing grade, so we will not get a certificate. And let's moving to the third part. This is the last one. In this part, I just want to tell you about what I have received from this course. There are a lot of things that I received from this course. First, gaining your knowledge, especially in study program that I'm currently studying, Department of Law, that is related to intellectual property law. So with this student exchange program, I can find out what the laws and regulations were made by other countries, specifically for intellectual property rights. And second is gaining experience, such as learning with other countries' language and learning about new cultures. So I got new insights and knowledge from other cultures. The third is getting a golden opportunity to be able to participate in one of the current technological advance, that is with the latest technology-based learning methods and modes that I got in this program. I think that will be all for me. I hope that any other students can experience the same opportunity as me, so they can equal benefits, and so they can gain equal benefits and perhaps contribute to both countries in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellya. Very interesting experience, I believe, last year. And there are some interesting topics that mentioned that I believe perhaps, especially Professor Yu will like to respond on how you can get not only knowledge but also a broader exposure with how the legal structure on the IPR related on at the, for example, at China, because it took the courses in Tsinghua, and also some latest advancement in the field that probably not here yet in Indonesia. So that's in line with Professor Yu's presentation on to expand the curricula. Okay, and our next presenter is Oka, Muhammad Oka Ramadan from the Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. He is studying agro-industrial technology education. And despite his considered only undergrad student, actually he has achieved a lot. He has wrote 4 academic papers. 3 of them are actually international papers, and also 4 patents, if I'm not mistaken, Oka. 3 on food and 1 on the learning module. So that's very impressive. And in 2018, also got a grant from the government on the village empowerment. And also last year, I believe you are the finalist of the most outstanding student at the national level from the Minister of Education and Culture. And last year also, she enjoying the courses from Tsinghua and also Harvard and Rochester. And perhaps you can share with us what is in the insight, what is in the lesson learned, and probably some interesting idea for the next way of learning. The time is yours, okay?
Okay, Mr. Fatoni, can you hear my voice?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Fatoni, and also ICE Institute for having me in this very special occasion at the 10th Cyber Education Forum. Yeah, okay. All right, everyone. I would like to share my screen first. Within the amount of time, 7 minutes ahead, I would like to share my experiences to all of you, especially for students, all across Indonesia, about this first special program, I think. Okay, let me have my screens. Okay, everyone, I do believe that you can see me on the slide itself. Okay, everyone, my name is Oka. I'm a 4th year of student of Agro-Industrial Technology Education, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. Quick glance for my major. Basically, my major is talk and study about the post-harvest processing in the agro-industrial sector. We are expected to be the Bachelor of Education and expected to be the future teacher, entrepreneur, researcher, and food industry practitioner. Of course, in the field of agro-industry. I would like to share my experiences in learning, especially for MMOC program. First of all, I would like to talk about schools abroad. It has always been my dreams to schools abroad. I believe that these dreams come through my mouth since high school, I believe. I do believe that education is an important thing, especially for Indonesia in developing human capital. We also have a famous proverb in Indonesia, which called "Tuntutlah ilmu ke negeri Cina." Or in English, it sounds seek knowledge until as far as China. China itself in this proverb is not a racial thing, absolutely. We do believe that China, Indonesian think that China have a lot of various advantages and also advances in science and also education, especially. So the meaning of this proverb itself is to study to as far as it is. So luckily, last year, I have an honor to take this proverb literally. Okay, last year, I have the opportunities to get involved and be a part of Beasiswa Merdeka Belajar untuk Semua, or in English is Freedom of Learning for Everyone Scholarship Program. This program is held by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of Republic Indonesia, and also partnership with ICE Institute and EDX. Okay. I took the chance to improve myself, to develop myself, especially for my future competencies that teachers need. We do agree that teachers need to be equipped with these 4 competencies, including pedagogical, provisional, social, and personal competencies. So I took the chance to take 3 courses that related to develop this 4th skill, which is I took several courses in Tsinghua University, Harvard, and Rochester. In my experience, there's a lot of benefits and also knowledge that I've learned from this MOOC program. I would like to divide our discussion into 2 parts. First part is I would like to introduce you how we learn, how I learn in this MOOC platform, and the second part is what did I get from this program. So the first part, okay, I do apologize. Yeah. Basically, MOOC and LMS platform, just like ICE Institute and also EDX, state 2 learning models. The difference between these 2 models is basically how they schedule the material, how they schedule the learning process itself. Instructor-paced model will be scheduled by the instructor itself, and for self-paced courses will be scheduled by ourselves. Yeah. So one course that I think has a quite memorable knowledge and insight for me is one course that I took in Tsinghua University, which is Shifting Your Teaching Online. This course is really an important thing for our education process since the COVID pandemic. So I think why I enrolled in these courses, it is because the need to know how learning process need to be shifted into an online learning. Okay, based on my experience, what I've learned and also what is the most memorable thing of our course is the ease of access to the materials and learning videos. I have a lot of insights that I can take, especially enlarge the perspective and also insights for educational processes. In these courses, I've learned a lot of how we shift our online our teaching methods into an online learning, such as a method of teaching and then the interaction itself, how we provide the media learning, and etc. So I think this courses is quite opens a lot of insights and beneficial knowledge for me to be implemented in a learning process. Okay. The third experiences will be an enlarged connection to the wider society. Even though this is an online courses, we can still interact with others in chat section or see others' comments on any themes or issue regarding the materials. And also one thing that I cannot go without is the transferable credits for this program. With this program, I also can transfer it to several subjects in my major, so I don't have to take their major in in-house campus, but also I can take those courses and knowledge broader in international level. I do believe that we have a lot of time. There's a lot of things that I want to share with you, but let's keep it for the discussion session later on. So I give my screens back to Mr. Fatoni. Mr. Fatoni, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Oka. Very wonderful presentation, and you also mentioned the benefit that you got from your experience taking the online courses. Okay, we have a couple of questions in the chat box, but before we address that, I would like to invite Professor Yu and Professor Q to perhaps respond or provide comments on the experience of our students, both Ellya and Oka, in taking courses from Mooc, especially from Chinese institution last year. Like how they are not only improving the knowledge, but also increasing the exposure and network and some cultural experience. So, Professor Yu, you have any comments on that one?
Yeah, I would like to answer two of these questions. The first one is, what is the requirement if Ring Classroom will be implemented in the course? As I mentioned, may I share my screen again?
Okay, so you want to answer directly in the question in the chat room, right?
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
Yes, chat room.
Okay, okay.
Here's a web page of the Ring Classroom. I hope you can see it. It has an English version. You can download the software for your Windows, for your Mac, for your cell phone, only the Android, not the iOS. So that's for the teacher. The teacher needs to download the software into his computer, and this software can either be implemented into the PowerPoint software, or it can be run standalone. They have some kind of help files for you to be familiar. It's very easy to learn. And for the students, they only need to take their smartphone, but it's better for them to use what we call in China, the WeChat, the software. So the Ring Classroom is very powerful under the WeChat platform. So that's for the first question. And for also for the first question, there needs no hardware a change or adjustment in the classroom. So only right now, if you have the Wi-Fi, you have the digital cell phone signal, that's okay for teachers to carry out the Ring Classroom-based blended learning. So that's for the first question. And the second question, Fadila asked, I would like to ask a question, how does MOOCs measure the students' mastery of technical skills, not only knowledge aspects? It's hard. The answer is it's hard, because we can only measure the answers from the online behavior, such as multiple selection, such as blank filling, such as subjective questions and answers. But we can hardly measure the skills, the abilities, where the real experiment, where the design, because the MOOC means massive. So with a massive number of students, the teachers cannot give the one-to-one interactive direction. So that's the hard part of MOOC. So if you want to improve your students' skills or abilities, I encourage you to adapt what I have mentioned, the blended learning. Let's make a shift, the knowledge part, especially the easy knowledge part, into the online learning before your classroom, and enlarge or expand our ability learning, skills learning in the classroom with a face-to-face, in-class, offline activity. That's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Yu. Before I pass to Professor Q, do you have any comment on our students' experience, Professor Yu, how they learn?
Yeah, I'm deeply impressed by Mohammed, because you demonstrate your my certificate. I can hardly imagine that our MOOC can have very large impact on students in Indonesia. Thank you for your encouragement, and I will keep on moving. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Yu. That's actually a real life example of how global the education are becoming global now. So That's very interesting. And Professor Q, do you have any comment from for those two students, or you want to answer the questions from the chat room? It is okay also.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think that Professor Yi probably has answered most of them. I just want to add on to what has been mentioned by Professor Yi and shared. I think that MOOCs are a great way to encourage positive and proactive learning, which I shared in my talk. And also it's a great way of networking globally. So we like to see all of you on our courses on top of Professor Yi's course. And then probably you can join our live broadcastings. Each of our course would have some live broadcasting opportunities. And finally, I would like to congratulate both of you. I think Ellya and Oka, you are great learners on the MOOC journey. I hope that we will be seeing each other online and then to have a further discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Q. And actually, there is one more question in the chat room. In terms of student assessment, how can this program get reliable or dependable assessment? So perhaps Prof Q, and then later on, Prof, you can comment on that one.
Me?
Yeah. Perhaps you.
So it's for me?
Yes, actually for both of you.
Okay, thank you very much. So this round I'll go first, right? I think in terms of assessment for the online MOOCs, there are really many different ways. For my experiences in building the MOOCs during my whole journey, I think we started building the questions into the course. While we are producing the MOOCs, and each of the 5 to 10 minutes video after that, we're building 1 or 2 maybe probably commentary questions and some multiple choices, very short. The main purpose of building to these questions is more encourage, proactive, interactive learning, and also keep the momentum of learning. I think that's one way, but most of the courses, even online, offline, we have 2 components. First would be continuous assessment, and secondly, either exams or project-based. So for the continuous assessment, we can assess them through the platform interactiveness, because most of the platforms like XiTangX and edX, FutureLearn, they have that function already built in. So the students can doing those continuous assessments online. And then in terms of the exam or project-based major parts of exam, or the sort of final assessment, either proctored exams or the video presentations. So those are different ways for different type of learning, continuous learning or final. We do need some kind of judgmental assessment for each course by the end of the course, particularly at a higher level of learning. I believe Oka is a fourth-year students. So if you are taking the MOOCs, I believe there might be some, at least, proctored exam on top of the continuous assessment, and also probably some kind of project presentation through videos or PowerPoint. So these are my experiences of online exams or assessments I can share. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Q. Professor Yu, you have any comment on this question?
Yeah, my answer to this question, rely on how you rely on this so-called reliable assessment. That means how can you define the reliable makes you the different assessment measures. If this course, the MOOC, the target or the objective of this MOOC is just what we call the knowledge transfer or knowledge shifting. The student just get some knowledge, get some practice, and you can offer the credits. That's okay. So we have lower requirement for the so-called reliable assessment. So I think the pure online learning with some of the designs mentioned by Professor Chiu is enough. But if for the what we call the core course, first thing I mentioned again, student might cheat, student might get some plagiarism actions. So for the core course, we need the regulation. This regulation in the university, we need some of the faculty members, not as much as the scenario we offer the real course, but we need some number of faculty members to organize the offline exam, to organize a tutorial, to ensure that this person, this student who took part in the Mooc is the real one who will apply for the credit. So that's very important. That's my amendment for the question.
Thank you, Professor Yu. Very insightful comments on that one. I believe we have no more questions in the chat room. Let me check. Okay, we do not have more questions. So,
Mr. Fatoni?
Yes.
Can I add up a bit about this kind of assessment?
Yeah, actually, that's my next interest. Do you have any panelists? Do you have some kind of closing statement? So since you already spoke up, please.
Okay. First of all, I would like to respond to earlier question about the assessment itself. I would like to share my experience. How can I get transferred these online courses into my subject in UPI or Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia? It's not that easy to transfer the credits into Indonesian credits. So in our university, we have a system that we need to disseminate our learning process through online learning in front of our lecturers about what we learn, about what we get from the online courses. So that will be, I think, a confirmation way or a clarification way that to make sure that I have learned the course itself, not only to take the certificate only, but also have a lot of insightful materials and also can be implemented in our daily teaching and learning process. Yeah. So I have to, for example, I took this courses shifting into online learning, and then my supervisors and also other lecturers asked me to disseminate what have I learned from the courses, and then they ask me, they assess me, they judge me. Did I pretty well learn from that course or not? So I think that will be one of a way that we can clarify that students really learn from the online courses. I think that's all, Mr. Fatoni.
Thank you. I believe, Ellya, you want to have a comment on perhaps some closing statement, because I just received an additional question. I believe it is coming from YouTube chat. Okay, if you doesn't have any comment on that one, I would like to read the question. How does Moocs, sorry, this one already, okay. Is there any monitoring and evaluation to make sure the program online course well? I'm not sure whether it is actually in line with the previous question on reliable assessment. How do you think, Professor Yu or Professor Q? The last question from Tora Akadira.
I guess that might the answer might come from Professor Chu.
Yeah, I say, is that the question regarding the significant characteristics as the difference of the material and assessment between self-paced learning, Moocs and other learning? Is that the question? I'm just reading from the chat room.
No, not the last one. The last one.
The last one.
Make sure the program online course well.
They are monitoring and evaluating to make sure programs online course well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for the question. I think it's very interesting. Actually, I depend on the type of courses you're dealing with or you are probably taking. I think relating to the question earlier, So they are self-paced learning MOOCs, and they probably require very little assessments. It's mainly more proactive learning and some kind of short essay questions, online discussion chat rooms. So more sort of like a social learning, I would say. And then if you that's probably an early stage of a lot of MOOCs mainly are self-paced, like interesting courses, and does not lead into the credit. That may need very little assessment and monitoring, and basically for knowledge sharing, social learning. And then when it comes to the stage of more sort of MOOCs, credit-bearing MOOCs, then that comes probably Professor Yu has mentioned, you would need rigorous assessment tools, for example, exams, multiple choices, and really just like offline exams, whatever. But then we can definitely, with the technology can do the proctored exams. So depending on type of MOOCs you're taking, and then the monitoring and the evaluation system would be very different, and based on what kind of courses you are taking and what kind of requirements, you probably need to take the courses from Tsinghua, from Nankai, getting the credit, then you need to participate on all our course requirement related assessments in order to get that credit equally with the students on our campus. That's the essence of quality assurance, of monitoring and assessment and evaluation. That's my best understanding. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Q. Professor Yu, you have any comment on that one?
No, thank you. No, not.
Okay. Okay, thank you for our panelists. I believe there are some more questions actually, but the time is our limit. We already almost 30 hours late. So if you have any more questions, please do not hesitate to pass it to the committee. We will pass it to our respective speakers here. And later on also, please kindly share your presentation, Professor Q and Professor Yu. We will pass it again to the audience so they can perhaps really read it again. Okay, I would like to, before I pass it to Mr. Fauzi, I would like to make a small wrap up that Professor Yu elaborate 3 ways to improve the Mooc on the expanding the curriculum, the improving the learning quality, and improving the teaching quality. It address different level of learning experience from the university level to the course level and the teaching process. And Professor Q mentioned about how the process of building the micro-credential process, and I believe it very much in line with Professor Yu presentation on collaboration among not only different teachers or different lecturers, but also with the industry practitioners across the globe. I believe you have, if I'm not mistaken, 11 lecturers for your courses, Professor Q. So it's very impressive, and I believe that's also one of the benefit of having some such kind of global partnership like EISD and Xutang, so we can collaborate more to improve the courses. And from our students, they actually confirm that it is beyond expanding the knowledge, but also the experience and the more broader exposure to issue that I do not think that any Indonesian university will talk about intellectual property right in a global setup or China setup like Ellya's or what Okas learn in Tsinghua on shifting to online courses. So that's a very interesting sharing for our panelists. Please give a big applause to them, and I return back the time to Mr. Fauzi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Herlinawati, Professor Yu, Professor Q, Oka, and Ellya for an interesting presentation, sharing, and discussion. Now we've come to the closing remark session, and I invite Ms. Wang Xiaoxiao to deliver the closing remark, please.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Professor Wang Libing, Mr. Hemingwan Zoomer Fathani, Professor Xinjie, Professor Hanqin, distinguished guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's my great honor to attend this webinar, and I'm also very honored to learn about the insights and experiences of online education from so many experts, scholars, and students. I have benefited a lot from your sharing the topic of our seminar today, certificate and micro-credential programs of online courses, challenges, opportunities for Indonesia. Although the topics about Indonesia, I think in this era, the development of online education in Indonesia, China, all over the world is facing the same opportunities and challenges. Therefore, I would like to take this opportunity to share my thoughts with experts and scholars. First, digital technology is an important foundation for development of online education in the future. As the prevention and control of pandemic has become a regular practice, Internet Plus and Intelligent Plus technologies have been widely used in teaching on farmers, continuous interactive upgrading is promoting the continuous innovation of integration models of information technology and education. The huge potential of teaching will continue to be released in the future with the continuous development and assistance of technologies such as artificial intelligence, big data, virtual reality, augmented reality, and the metaverse. The experience of online education will be greatly enhanced. Teachers can use accumulated teaching and learners' data to understand each student and refine their teaching design. Students can get timely feedback through automated tools, test their own learning, and receive tailored learning plans. Looking back at the changes that technology has brought to human interaction, we may need to constantly stimulate our imagination to explore and experience the changes that technology has brought to higher education. Second, international cooperation is a strong guarantee for the development of online education in the future. Today, we are more connected than ever before. Humans live in the same global village, and the interests and destiny of all countries are closely linked. We cannot and should not detach ourselves from our interconnected world. Instead, we should always open up, carry out international exchanges, make innovations in international cooperation, and integrate advantages and the resources of different countries and regions. We should also promote the in-depth and practical development of international cooperation between global education organizations and institutions, work together against future challenges, achieve mutual benefit and win-win results, and promote the building of a community with a shared destiny to create a better future for mankind. Third, continuous innovation is a future direction of online education development. Innovation is a primary driving force for the development. We boost innovation for development and the future. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought significant shocks and challenges to higher education and has also prompted the continuous and rapid update of interaction of online education. The integration of online and offline teaching has become the new normal of higher education today. As the prevention and control of pandemic has become a regular practice, in the future, we need to continue making innovations in serious practices and technologies of online education and constantly boost development and improve the achievements. We must contribute to the reform of the education systems and mechanisms, the fundamental task of fostering virtue through education, ensuring inclusive, fair, and quality education, and providing lifelong learning opportunities for all. Finally, congratulations on the successful cooperation. And again, thank you to all experts, scholars, and students for sharing your views and experiences on certificate and the Microcredential programs today. I'm very happy to see so many teachers and students interests in and commitment to the development of Moocs and online education. I'm also very excited and proud to be a member of this team. In the future, we will continue to meet with all experts, scholars, students, and friends, and join hands to realize a great vision and blueprint of online education and higher education. Thank you.
Thank you very much for a wonderful closing remark, Dr. Wang. And now I invite Professor Paulina Panen, to give the certificate of appreciation to the speakers, panelists, and moderators. Please, Prof. Pauline. I'm sorry, Prof. Pauline, I think you're still muted.
Can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much to all wonderful speakers. Mr. Libing Wang, Shosho, Professor Yu, Professor Hanqin, Oka, and also Ellya. And allow me now to present you with our certificate. The real certificate, the printed one, will be sent by mail, but the e-certificate will be presented to you now. First, it will be for Professor Wang Libing. Okay.
Okay, let's give a virtual applause.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Pak Libing.
Yes, got it.
Okay. Next. For Xiao Xiao.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you,
Professor Brennan. Thank you.
For Professor Yu, thank you.
Thank you.
For participation. And then for Professor Q, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Very insightful. Okay, wonderful.
Thank you.
And then Oka.
Yeah.
Much success.
Thank you very much for. Amin. Thank you for the appreciation. Really looking forward to not only learn in online courses, but also present in real world.
We'll take a note on it. Okay, thank you.
Amin. Thank you very much.
Pak Iwan. Okay, Pak Hemiwan Sumarfatoni.
Thank you, Bu.
Thank you very much. And then the last but not the least, Ellya Herlinawati. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bu.
Student, much success to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And thank you everybody for your participation in this webinar. And I return it to Pak Fauzi, please. Pak Fauzi.
Well, thank you, Prof. Pauline, and all speakers and panelists, and also the moderators. Well, that's the end of the 10th Cyber Education Forum and Global Mooc and Online Education Alliance Dialogue as a series of the successful signing cooperation agreement between Swetang X and EISD Institute. On behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to thank all the speakers, panelists, and participants for their great contribution to the event. And don't forget, please fill in the feedback form that the committee has shared on the chat box to get the certificate. Last but not least, thank you all. 谢谢. Have a nice day. Stay safe and healthy.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Stay safe.
Bye, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Bye-bye.
Udah diituin? Okay. Feedback form. For those who would like to have the e-certificate, please fill in the feedback form.
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me? Oh, for God's sake.